what was the single worst part for you going into it blind? And if
Mm.
you were to articulate it to someone starting the process, like this caught me off guard and this drove me insane building new construction, what would that be?
I'll let you go first.
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
Well, Marty's loaded. He's like, I got mine.
I know he does.
Well, I made you miserable because I would get
Well,
angry and then I would take it out on you,
yeah.
which wasn't fair. And
I think
would get angry
part,
regularly.
but the first part goes so quick. Like the foundation comes in and the forms and everything is poured, and you're like, man. And then the studs are going up, and that's like bam, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, where did I go? Like, are they coming back?
It does slow down. That's a very good point.
I grew up around real estate and construction my entire life, so it's like in the back of your mind, this, but you're like, well, this is my house. Where are you guys? It's 8:30 and you're still not here yet, But I think that was it. But I mean, overall, it's just you have to have patience and you have to try to, not get so frustrated and, be in touch. I mean, fortunately, he was able to be on hands a lot, which I think was very helpful. So,
Yeah.
I think it's just at first it seems to go so quick, and then all of a
And then it
sudden it's
stops.
like the reins get pulled back, and that's not to anybody's fault, right? It's just that's how the process is. So, but it was fun. This was my first time ever having a brand new home. So, it was a lot for me. I was just like, well, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Ask him.
No, it's good. It's common, right? And it is a little bit of a hurry up and wait. And the cool thing about Barndo is that initial phase for us goes super fast with framing. And then it starts to have that lull effect and you realize, oh wait, yeah, no, that it is going to be a long process.
Right.
You get so hopeful. And that first little,
Mhm.
like that first 30-day run, you're like, oh man,
They're going to be done in no time.
we
Man,
might
we're
as well
gonna
go
be
ahead
in
and
here
start
before
picking
you
out
know it.
furniture.
Yeah, and I think if you had all of the trades at your beck and call, like some builders do,
Yeah.
and you could just bring one trade in after the next, yeah, I'm sure you could probably build it in 4, 5, 6 months.
Yep.
And I think one of the things for me was probably setting some unrealistic expectations, because I think you said 6 months. Cliff, who was our project manager, said, oh, I'll build it in 5 or 6 months. And then, 5 became 6, became 7, became 9, and we weren't close. And that was frustrating. But we onboarded right before the holidays, right before
2
Christmas.
weeks before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so Thanksgiving, I think we had the plans and had money to our deposit, right before or after Christmas. So then we got into the new year. If you remember, we had permitting problems because we were the first one in Dorchester County.
Yep.
So that took time. Then we had rain, and then we had some water on the bottom of the property. So we took care of that. We finally got the forms in. We finally got some cement poured. Framing went up pretty quick. And then we had issues passing inspections because you didn't know what they wanted, and they weren't very good at articulating what they wanted. So it was a back and forth. But Jen's right. It was after it was framed and, metal went on, windows went in. It's like, oh, this is really moving along good now. And then it got painfully slow. And we went through a couple project managers, and, I know you had some problems, with some of your subs. Things happen. I think for you, and I don't know what you tell people now, I think I would never tell anybody 5 or 6 months. I might start at 9.
Well, no, what I want to speak to that is I love that. I told you when we got on here, I want all the real hard honesty, because there's things at play there, right? One is we talk a whole lot now about present day, right? We get on here and we articulate process, time to get through this, how this operates, what market, how that works. And it comes from being in business now for multiple years in this area, right? When you came, the worst it ever been. And the fact that we can even sit down at a table and have conversation, living and having endured that, it's the worst it has ever been and ever will be in this market, right? So now it's not uncommon. Still in this area, if you're in this low country area, we would never say 6 months because it's just really hard. The counties here, from the coast, from Charleston County all the way up through Dorchester, Berkeley County, it's arduous with them, and they do things differently, and there's different soil compositions and the way septics and everything here are. Like, those are things you kind of learn, and so for this area a more realistic timeline of what things look like. There are parts of our service area where we can 100% go from permit to door key inside of 6 months. We've done them as fast as 100 days. That's not, we don't use that language. We're not going to promise anybody that. And we did, you said something about setting bad expectations. We also did that as a young company. We had a pretty good idea of what expectations were where we were, and then moving into new areas. And so those are all things of being a young company, right? We knew at the end of the day, we're going to give you a great product, right?
Sure.
There was no doubt in any of our mind of like what the end result was going to be. But there's a whole lot of not knowing how long it's going to take to get there and what all I was going to encounter. And like, you guys did that. You're in a brand new market, which is still to this day the toughest market to push homes across the finish line in, right? Berkeley County probably being number 1,
right?
Charleston County number 2, and then this county is number 3, right? Like that, it's just tough. And Berkeley County is humongous, and so we know to date, right, 4 years into this thing, this is the hardest market to build this product in. They don't like it. They don't like it because it's different. They don't like that they have to look at something different when they come out here. They're overwhelmed. This is one of the fastest growing areas. All those guys are overworked. I don't think it's personal. I think it's here we go again, right? I got to go out here and look at this stuff that isn't what I'm looking at 9,000 times a week. And I've got to dig into these structurals, and I got to, really challenge myself to go in here and really do this. And in the beginning, they fail anything they looked at because they didn't understand the process. It has got better. We've done a lot of builds here. And so now they kind of know what they're looking at when they look at our builds.
Right.
Because it's just different. But it has improved. Getting good staff down here, getting roots, getting the same culture and core values that you guys witnessed when you came to Duncan for an OBX event, to be localized here took a little longer than we anticipated too, because you got a skeleton crew in a new market, all trying to figure it out. They're all new. It's a new system in a new area. And I think there was a lot of pains there. The good thing about it is, for me, is especially with someone like you, I talked to you more in those early days than anybody that I talked to. But you were very hands-on here, right? You would never lose your cool. You would send me.
I wouldn't lose it with you.
You would send me. You would send me like requests, and it was really like, I just want to know,
right?
And it was the most valuable feedback that I could have ever gotten as an owner of a company in a new market with new process and new people to become the best.